Welcome to Honoring Self Through Care. If you ever find yourself taking care of others before your own self, wondering what self-care even is, or forgetting to take the time to take care of yourself, you're going to really enjoy this talk. I'm Elizabeth Beeds, and I'm gathered here with Angela Strank and Deanna Deacon, and together we're going to share with you some of our top self-care secrets with the intention that you are able to implement these things and use them in your own life. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad that you're here, and we're going to have a wonderful chat today. So I'm going to start by inviting Angela Strank to set an intention for today and for our group.
Nice. Thank you, Elizabeth. And Deanna, thank you for being here with me. We are really excited to be here and to connect with you, the viewer, on some of the self-care stuff that we have going for our own selves to make our lives work. And you know what? We are more alike than we are different. There's not anybody that I don't talk to that doesn't say they are busy, aren't busy. We are all busy in our own unique ways, and we all are juggling many, many things and trying to keep our plate balanced, if you will. And so when we understand that, you know, just because we're busy doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with us or anything wrong with our lives, that all we need to do is find some balance to make our lives work and be more in a thriving position, then we can actually embrace those skills and really get into our life and really claim it. And so we're just happy to be here to share what we're doing. We're very busy entrepreneurs, and we don't always get it right. Sometimes we fall off the wagon, but for the most part, we have found ways to make our lives work by managing our busyness and also bringing in more play and being as balanced and happy as we possibly can in this wonderful journey of life. So anyways, we're happy you're here, and we're really excited that you can be part of this with us.
Thank you, Angela. So we're going to start by introducing ourselves. Who are these women who are leading you through this session today? So let's start with Deanna. Tell us a little bit about you and what makes you passionate about self-care.
Thank you. And Angela, that was just beautiful. Thank you for that introduction for our intention for today. That's great. So my name is Deanna Deacon, and I am a holistic health and lifestyle coach. And self-care is very important to all of my clients, to everything that we're doing together. I want to make sure that everyone feels that they're putting their best self forward, or in every situation they feel on top of their game. And whether it's they're an entrepreneur or they're working in a business or just living life with your passion and your dreams, making sure that you have the ability to move forward, always feeling in control of your life, that you know what your body needs, you know what your mind needs to move yourself forward. So one of the things that I love the most about working with my clients is seeing people bring out their passion and their purpose. And I find that it takes someone being in control of their self-care to really get to that point. So when you have your self-care game on point, it allows you the space to find that creativity, to explore your passion and explore your purpose. And once you've got that, then you have the tools to push yourself forward and really live the life that you've always wanted. So that's something that I'm super passionate about, and that's why I'm really glad that you're here with us today.
Nice.
So let's switch over to you, Angela.
Great. My name is Angela Strank, and I'm an intuitive healer, a transformation expert, a speaker, and also an author. And my biggest passion is helping people to change subconscious limiting beliefs. And so my take on self-care is just a little bit unique in the sense that I really, truly believe that we are in our best game when we can be responsible for our energy, and we can be responsible for the thoughts that we're holding about ourselves, and really owning and really claiming our ability to take care of our own needs on the emotional internal environment. And so that's kind of the angle that I come from when it comes to self-care, is just making sure that we are taking care of our internal environment first and foremost, and then that will translate out into the external world. And so I'm really excited to be here, and was super pumped when I got invited to be part of this series. So welcome, and nice to connect with you guys.
Thank you. And that leaves me. My name is Elizabeth Beeds, as I mentioned, and I'm the creator of Interior Wellness Magazine and Interior Wellness Festival and Conference. I have been passionate about health and healing alternatively for over 20 years. And it wasn't until I experienced a deep need for self-care in my own self from working too much and burning out that I became really passionate about the self-care aspect of wellness. Knowing what it's like to not have any energy to do the things that you love because you forgot to take care of yourself is something that I know intimately. And that's led me on the journey for the past few years to figure out what it really means to take care of yourself. And not just from a standpoint of another thing on your to-do list, because that will never work, but from a standpoint of how can you gently nurture yourself in a way that builds you back up and rebuilds your whole system energetically and physically so that you can live a better life and help other people and be of better service, whether that's to people that you serve through your business or whether that's to your family or your partner. So taking care of you first is really important to affecting the world around you.
Nice.
And thank you. And I am so excited to be here with these two women. We've been sharing together and have created this so that we can share with other people what we now know. We're not perfect and we're on a journey, and part of that journey is sharing what we know so that we can build other women up to live better lives as well.
Beautiful.
So our intention today is to share, just casually share some of our best self-care tips and secrets, things that have helped us to take care of ourselves in a better way. So let's jump right in if there's anything else that either of you want to say. Otherwise, we'll jump right in.
Sounds good.
Sounds awesome.
Awesome. So Angela, why don't we start with you, and you can tell us one of your best self-care tips, and then we'll go around from there.
Okay, so I have quite a few, but one of the ones that actually works best for me, because like I said, I have a lot of things going on in my business and a lot of pots in the fire, if you will. And so the best thing that I do is I segment intend my day. And so what that looks like is, for example, I'm going from one thing to the next, and I don't allow myself to go mentally ahead of anything that I have on my plate at the time. And whatever I'm doing, I have an intention always. Usually it's through prayer, where I set an intention. Okay, I intend that this is going to be the best possible outcome for whatever I'm engaging in, and I ask to, really be connected and grounded and present, and to receive what I need to understand and learn in this process. And I do this throughout my entire day. And often when I go to bed, I actually intend for the next day, especially if I have something coming up that's a little bit challenging, because in my kind of work, I'm being stretched all the time to really put myself out there, and although I'm passionate and I love it, I'm still human, and so sometimes, it feels a little bit overwhelming, some of the things that I'm doing in my work. And so for me, segment intending is one of the best self-cares because it prevents me from going into overwhelm very often. I mean, yes, I do go into it, but it doesn't own me. And so this is how I actually get through my day in a way that just feels very present, very flowing, and in between things that I'm working on, I allow myself to really rest. So just take a break in between, so that I'm not literally going from one to the next to the next and next without there being space and closure. So that's probably the biggest thing that I do, and I'll share other things that I do as well. But absolutely, I find for someone like myself who is ridiculously busy, it works, and it works really well. So,
can you give us an example of how you use that? I want to know a little bit more about it, because as creative, busy people, we're taking on too much. So how does that look?
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you an example from something that is absolutely passionate for me and I love. So my horse, for example. So I got a new horse. I'm a beginner rider, and he's 17 hands and he's big, and they're unpredictable animals. And so every single time I get with him, I set an intention, because I want to A, stay safe, and B, I want to be fully present and not being worried about my work and what I'm doing there, so I can close that door. And so I set an intention every single time. I intend for our ride to be safe. I intend for it to be enjoyable for me and for my horse. And I intend for us to really find some kind of harmony and growth. And if there's lessons that we both need to learn, I intend we do it with love. And so I actually do this with my horse, and I say to her, and I know he actually can feel into it, and he holds that intention as well. And we don't always reach the goal that I set for the intention, but there's a sense of almost like taking that moment to breathe in before I start, and it really grounds me, and it makes it very true and connected for me. So That's an example. But I do this with everything from my horse to work to clients to public speaking to often meditations. I will set the intention right before, and that is my form of getting grounded in the moment and then getting really clear on I have power. I have control in the sense of where I'm going to set my energy. It's like a barometer, if you will. And I do notice when I don't do it, especially with my horse, I'm off center, I'm off grounded, and I can feel it in the ride. And so most times I actually make sure I remember that intention. So hopefully that gives you an example, but it's powerful when you set an intention because the universe backs you up and it supports you. And it also helps you align with an energy vibration that holds that potential. And so it's powerful, and I recommend it for anybody who's, start with the small things. Like I intend to be able to get through my day and not feel anxiety like I normally do. And then at the end of the day, you'll notice, wow, it's a little bit different because the intention will connect into with that potential and the universe will reorganize itself with you. And so that's one of the things that I do that I learned a long time ago from Abraham Hicks. I must have been 5 years ago. I read one of their books and he talked about segment intending, and wow, I've claimed it as something that is really, really useful, and I highly recommend it.
That's so great. That's one of the things we can best do for self-care is find one thing and then stick with that and make it really work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, completely.
So Deanna, how about switching over to you?
Sure, yeah. So one thing that I was thinking about, Angela, while you were talking about that is I currently have not been segment intending, and I definitely think I'm going to start doing that. I haven't read that book that you read, but I'm glad that you mentioned that today because I think that's something that will benefit my life a lot. But one thing that I have had a lot of experience with in the past is getting really sick. And Elizabeth, I know that you can associate with this as well because we were talking about this last week. And I would get so sick to the point where I would be on the couch and I wouldn't be able to do anything. I'd have to cancel all clients, I'd have to cancel all activities, whatever it was, because my body was so run down I couldn't function. And what I realized was this was my body's way of talking to me and saying, you need to relax. You're doing too much. I'm going to make you sick so that you get the rest that you need. So what I started doing once I realized that was how my body was speaking to me was taking those little pockets of rest before I got to the point where I had to be on the couch all day long. So an example would be just today I was feeling a little bit run down, and so I gave myself that opportunity just to pause, just to relax. And I actually went outside in the sun and laid down on the grass and looked up at the sun, well, with my eyes closed, and I just rested, and I just asked myself, all right, body, how are you? What do you need? What are you missing, and what's going to lift you up right now? And I find that just by taking those pockets of time, whether it's laying in the grass in the sun or laying on the couch and watching a movie on a night when I felt I should be doing something else, just relaxing allows my body to heal before it gets to the point where it needs to make me so sick that I can't function. And that way I don't have to cancel anything. And that way I get to stay in charge and I get to decide what my schedule looks like because my body is well and my body is healthy. So yeah, that's definitely been something that has transformed the way that I can live each day that I have because I feel like I'm in control.
Nice.
I love that you talk about like laying on the ground or checking in with yourself, because that's one of the most important things we can do is just tune into our own bodies and say, what do I need? So I'll share one of my tips right now. I think one of my biggest things is having a tech-free day. Because I'm so busy, because I work on my computer and I'm on my computer a lot, and because I run my own business, there's no boundaries to when I have to start and stop work. And so I have had times where I just, like, right from the first second I wake up, I'm grabbing my smartphone and seeing what emails have come in since the people who live in different time zones have been on, or what things have come through before I got to my desk. And it's just, it stresses me, even if it's not a stressful thing. It's like, oh, I have to get to that, but I'm not ready to work yet. Or working through the weekends and never having time off. So something I've done recently is make sure I have an absolute tech-free day. And I'll tell the people who might want to get a hold of me for whatever reasons that they won't be able to. I usually do it on Sunday. And it seems revolutionary, but think back like 10 or 20 years ago, when did we spend so much time on computers and cell phones and smartphones and in front of screens? And it didn't used to happen, and now it does. So I can remember a time when we didn't, which is really nice. And I know that it's a bit draining if I'm on it all the time. And technology is amazing. We need it. And we love it for the businesses that we have. But we need to get off of it as well. And that's been huge for me. When I have a tech-free day, the day seems to go on forever. The time just stretches out, and it's like, and I even have that feeling that I need to check my phone, and I know that I'm a little bit addicted because I'm like, where is it? Oh, right, it's a tech-free day. I'm not on it. Or I'll stare at my computer and be like, I miss you, computer. But I know that I'll get to it tomorrow, and it just fills me back up, and I start connecting with people, real people more, or I read a book, or do other things other than computer-based stuff. So tech-free days, huge. Try it out.
I think that's really awesome, and I totally agree with you, because I find when I'm most creative is generally when I'm not being influenced by anything other than nature. So whether it's just sitting in my house or sitting in the yard or going for a walk or anything, not having any type of technology means that everything that's coming up comes from me. I'm not influenced by anything that I'm seeing or reading or on Pinterest or whatever it is. So, good one. I like that.
Thank you. And we can be so much more creative when we're not plugged into technology, so that's very cool.
Nice. Nice.
So back to you, Angela.
Oh, well, one of my other favorite self-care things is, so years ago, I used to nap all the time. So since I was a little kid, I've always loved naps. And so it works for me. It's kind of like a reset, because I'm not somebody who can sit and read a book for a long time or study for a long time or be at a computer a long time. I know that about myself. There's no use fighting your personality. Work with it. So I would always come home from school and I'd have a short 20-minute nap, and then I would be reset, ready to, do my homework or whatever for the evening. And so I gave myself permission to replace my napping time with my passion, which is horses, which I was saying before. And so what doesn't matter if you can put a nap in there or some kind of passion. The whole point is to be able to shut the brain off from the external world, kind of like you, from becoming tech-free, right? And having a chance just to reset back to being calm, being peaceful, those kinds of things. And so when you're working with a horse, you cannot be anything but present. It is absolutely impossible. They are very unpredictable. They can be very dangerous animals. You have to be present. And for 2 hours every single day, in the middle of my day, doesn't matter what's going on in my business, I disconnect from everything, phone, everything. I've actually tried having my phone with my horse. That didn't work very well. He actually stepped on it and destroyed it. So a good sign that, yeah, you're going to have to be really present if you're going to be with me. So anyways, I give myself permission to have that. And, if you knew my business and how full it really is, you'd think, are you crazy? How do you have time for your horse? Well, I make time, because it's absolutely imperative that I have that, because I am far more productive after I've seen him than if I had just slugged along. My energy is low because I'm doing the same thing. And so I highly recommend for anybody, find a passion and give yourself permission to actually exercise it every single day. It is amazing for the spirit. It's amazing for emotional balancing. It's absolutely amazing for the heart center. So that's something I would recommend. And there's always a reason why we can't. I could give you a million reasons why it would be silly for me to have a horse, but I can tell you 10 million reasons why I should have a horse, because it fuels my spirit and it uplifts me, and I can go to the barn absolutely exhausted. I could be upset about something just like any other human being, and I leave there feeling amazing. Amazing. And so I highly recommend your own passion, giving it to yourself, owning it, and claiming it. So that would be one of my self-cares that I would implement, definitely.
That's cool.
It's so important as adults. Oh, sorry, Deanna, why don't you go ahead?
Well, I was just going to say, it was funny, just towards the end there when you're talking about it, I think I associate yoga with that for me, because I find that after I give myself a really great stretch out, and it looks different every single time. Sometimes it's powerful and sometimes it's really relaxing. Whatever I went into it with tends to release, and I come out feeling uplifted and a little bit more free. And I love that. It's so nice.
That is nice. Absolutely. And that's a confirmation that you're doing what you're intending to do, that you need this. It's going to help your body, especially if you're, every once in a while your body wants to shut down because of exhaustion. It's absolutely a confirmation that would be beautiful for your life if you can keep maintaining it. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And as adults, having some kind of passionate pastime that's not work, that's not your kids or your job or your work or your business, that is something that's just for you. If you've always wanted to do something like own a horse or paint or learn to dance or just some kind of activity that is completely different than what you normally do, I think that's really important.
Absolutely, because it's about giving back to yourself. And how often do we have a chance to do that? Especially women entrepreneurs. We're out in the world being of service, and our energy is going externally, right? It's so much to uplift others and all that. And so this time when you can actually nurture yourself with your own passion, it's like honoring, I'm important too, and I'm going to give back to myself. And then that's a nice flow of life. There's a giving and a receiving, just like our breath. We inhale and we exhale. We need both. We need to be able to give freely, but we need to also receive. And self-care is about receiving and practicing that.
Totally. And I think it's so important to, like you're saying, just have that passion, especially as an adult. Because as a kid, everyone asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or what are you passionate about? Or what do you really care about? But those conversations don't come up as regularly as adults, unfortunately. I mean, I think that we're going to start allowing them to, but it's nice to ask yourself, what is my passion? What do I want to be doing? If I wasn't working or if I had that space, what is it that I want to do? And then go do it. Remove all the barriers and just make it happen.
It's funny because before I got my horse, I used to work way more than I do now. And I, like you, suffered with burnout a lot. And you know what? In all honesty, I felt an emptiness in my life because I didn't have a passion that was about me and really filling my spirit. And that emptiness is gone ever since I got my horse. And so when you can actually honor those passions, it fills you from the inside out like nothing else can. And so I would highly recommend finding out what that is for you, because it's unique to all of us, and we all have them. They might be, completely shut down, and they might be lost for a while, but they never leave us. They're always there. And so if you can explore what that is for yourself and find a way to bring it to life, it's amazing what it will do for everything in your life. Absolutely everything in your life will benefit from you having that passion and being able to connect with it daily. Absolutely.
Yeah, so good. Well, I think maybe I'll share another tip. One thing that I started doing probably a year ago, I think, and it's made a really big difference, was I used to take all sorts of supplements and vitamins and minerals and all sorts of things because I wanted to be healthy. And I figured if I need to be healthy, I need to fill my body full of health, right? So all of these vitamins and minerals are healthy. That will make me healthy. And what I didn't realize is that my body was just, it was too much for it. It didn't need all of it. I was eating a well-balanced diet. I didn't need all these different supplements. So what I've started doing is giving myself a moment in the morning, and I look at my beautiful array of supplements and minerals and everything available, and I take a moment to ask myself, what do I need for the day? What is going to support me with whatever it is I foresee to come in this day? And I find now I'm much more picky and choosy with what I have, but I feel more empowered in taking those vitamins and minerals. So even if my body doesn't need that extra vitamin B complex or whatever it is that I decide to take for the day, mentally I feel more empowered because I took it. And it also is just like that moment to myself in the kitchen, standing, facing the counter, just asking myself, what do you need? I'm here for you, and I support you, and I will give you what you need if you just tell me. So that's been really cool. Sorry?
That's a form of intention. That's a segment intending.
Aha.
Yeah, so you're already doing it. That's great.
Awesome, I like it.
That sounds great, and that could filter through to all areas of our life. Like you just take a moment to pause at the kitchen counter and say, wait a minute, what do I need?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's very cool. I think that the tip I'll share next is some kind of nutritional one. It's nice to have a little bit of a balance in things that we're presenting. So every morning, a lot of people know this one. Drink lemon in the morning. Have you guys heard of that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Really good because it clears out any toxins from the night before, the day before, and helps your liver. But it also helps to alkalize your body. But I've done something with my lemon drink that's kind of fun and made it a little bit enhanced. So what I do is I take fresh squeezed lemon, about half of a lemon, and then I add a half a teaspoon of ginger powder, which is anti-inflammatory, and about a quarter to half teaspoon of turmeric powder. So now you've got this boosted lemon. And I have just a tiny little sprinkle of Himalayan salt, because then it's extra minerals. and I had a couple of drops of stevia, which is delicious. I have this coconut stevia, which makes it taste really yummy. So I'm clearing out my system, but I'm also adding these other little nutritious bits into it, and I drink this whole jar full of it before I have breakfast. So that's kind of a fun thing that I have implemented, and like I mentioned earlier, like something that you always do, no matter what. So every single morning I do that. I have my big huge lemon drink, and then I go for a walk before I do anything. Don't touch my phone, don't talk to anybody, don't do anything, but that's something that nourishes my body from the inside out right from the moment that I wake up. Oh, one more thing's in it, about a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. So you're alkalizing your body and just refreshing it and ready to start for the day. Fortunately, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't have to kick that habit. But especially if you are a coffee drinker, you want to bring balance back from the acidity in your coffee by adding some alkalizing lemon and apple cider vinegar.
That's awesome. So I am a coffee drinker, and I have a love-hate relationship with coffee. We go back and forth all the time. But I also love my lemon water, and I would often have it hot, and I'd put in turmeric powder and also a bit of cayenne pepper. And I find the cayenne pepper warms my body up almost in the way that coffee does. Obviously, it's quite different, but it does give me that warming effect. And so that really helps for me to crave the coffee less afterwards. So definitely a nice addition to add in if you want to try something a little bit spicy.
Oh, I like that. I'll add that too. And cayenne has good effects for your body too. And it's good, like, if you don't try to not be a coffee drinker if that's your thing, but add in drinking a bunch of water and some lemon to help to balance out what the coffee does.
That's funny. I love turmeric as well. I use that as well. And like Elizabeth, I don't drink coffee, so I don't struggle on that level. But you know, it's so funny. I eat something very, very, very simple. I eat an apple a day, every day. And, you know, partially it's motivated because my horse loves apples and he wants the core. So anyways, that's something that I do every day. But I have to say, I've been doing that for quite a while now. Ever since I've done that, my whole digestive system has changed. And there's a reason why they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I can't tell you the last time I was sick. Knock on wood, but it's just not generally something I experience. And, you know, there's lots of reasons for that. I manage my energy every single day, and I'm really in tune. I have to be an energy medicine practitioner. But I do know that changes happened in my entire digestive system by eating one apple a day. And so I will continue to do that because it's been amazing. And their apples are lovely anyways. So. But I think as kids we tend to eat apples more than adults do. And the roughage in it, and there's just something about apples that really makes a difference in the digestive system. So I would highly recommend buying more apples, for sure.
What's your favorite kind of apple?
Gala.
Me too. So
I'm
good.
a Gala fan too.
Gala.
Organic galas are the best.
Yes, I only eat organic, so yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's such a good reminder because it's true. As kids, we eat a lot more fresh fruits and vegetables, and as adults, I know that they have those guidelines thing, but how many people actually follow it? Like, how many servings of fresh, raw fruits and vegetables do you eat? So, good reminder.
Mm-hmm.
So, where are we at? Who wants to share another one?
Well, there's one that I was thinking about today, actually. I was just driving around from a friend's house, and one thing that I always make time for, and this, Angela, you'll really associate with this one, is that I lay on the floor and play with my puppy. And so she's not actually a puppy. She's 2.5 years old, but she holds my heart very close. And just the act of A, being on the floor, and B, playing with this sweet little innocent soul where all she wants to do is play. She just brings her toy over and we play tug-of-war, or she licks my face, or we roll around. She's just such this sweet little being. And when I play with her, I get to release everything else. I get to stop thinking about all the things I have to do, or whatever needs to be done by a certain time, or what I didn't get done for the day, or the conversations I had. I just get to be with her. And she's such a beautiful reminder to be present in the moment. And that it's okay to just stop, drop, and roll. Just have fun. And just do it for the sake of doing it because it feels good, like being a little kid again. And I make sure that I definitely make time for that every single day.
Nice. One of the things that I do is I get to bed early every night, and I have since I was a little kid. My mom used to always say I was the easiest kid on the planet to raise because they never had to give me a curfew because I'd never break it. Because when I was a kid, up until I was about probably 25, I went to bed at 9. Now it's around 10 o'clock. But where this is really important, I studied Chinese medicine after massage therapy, and they really stressed that it was very important to be in a nice, deep, solid sleep between 11 and 1, because that's when a lot of your energy systems are actually recharging, your energy systems. So that's really important because a lot of people struggle with being fatigued and burnt out and all that stuff. So if you can find a way to get to bed before, like even if it's like 10:30, good chance is you're going to be, good sound to sleep by 11, so that when that energy is running between 11 and 1 and your systems can really maximize on that, it is amazing what it does for your energy levels, because I wake up feeling recharged every morning. I mean, it's a very odd morning that I wake up exhausted or tired, but it's very, very rare. And it gives me enough energy to do what I need to do throughout the day. So I highly support people getting as much sleep as they need. And I get that people have a lot on their plate. They need to stay up because they have kids and they didn't get to bed till 9 and they have no time. But it's amazing what it can do, because you might be able to translate that into the morning, getting up a bit earlier and having more time. But I really recommend getting to sleep and trying to be in a deep sleep between 11 and 1, because there is a reason for it that really helps with our energy systems and recharging. So it's something I've always practiced, and I haven't really had a problem with sleep at any point in my life, because I've kept a consistent time that I've gone to sleep. So anyways, that's a really helpful tip. And, I know it's hard on the system when some nights we're going to bed at 9, some nights we're going to bed at 12, 1, and the constant changing back. I mean, think about children. If you do that to children, they're all over the map in their day. They need that consistency. Well, just because we're adults doesn't mean we don't need consistency as well. So something that I would recommend definitely is getting into a consistent schedule, and if you can, trying to be asleep, in a good solid sleep, before 11 o'clock at night, when you can really maximize on those times to help your systems recharge.
I completely support that. I remember as a kid, my dad always said that 1 hour that you were asleep before midnight was worth 2 hours after.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's his version of saying the same thing. And yeah, I agree. Like if I'm in bed past 10 o'clock, I feel like it's kind of late. But then I get to wake up feeling rested and energized, and wake up earlier than I would otherwise. And I think that's so much more worth it.
I think I need to implement this new tip, because I'm a total night owl. I do a lot of creative work at night, and sometimes I've been waking up lately, and maybe it's a change of the season, but waking up feeling like, did I even sleep? And that's not usual for me. Like usually I sleep really well and really deeply, but I'm going to try this tip out tonight.
Nice.
So I've got another one that I can share, and it's just coming up for me right now, and that is one of the best self-care things that anybody can do for themselves is to connect with other people in community. So we've been meeting online. It doesn't matter where or when or how you do it, but connect with other people who are doing what you're doing or thinking the way you're thinking. Sometimes, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you have a business, or you're a busy mom and you've got kids, you can get in this bubble of not connecting with other women around about your age range and who are doing similar things to you, or who are just in the same field or thinking the same things. So really important to connect with other people who are in your tribe, so to speak. And if you don't have one, find them online or find friends. And if you can't meet in person because you're too busy for whatever reasons, try meeting online. And it affects you in a huge way to know other people are out there who care about you, or to know other people who are out there who are thinking the same things. And as women, when you talk to other women, or even when you're listening to something like this call, your serotonin levels will be boosted by just listening or by speaking. So I think that's really important, is to connect with other people.
That's a great tip, because it nourishes the heart, right? It nourishes the spirit, and women by nature need to talk. It's just reality, right? And so when you have that venue and that place to give yourself that fulfillment, it's pretty good. We know that. We get to connect every week, which is great.
Yeah, we're really lucky. And the guys in our lives, your men are really important as well. It's super important, but they don't understand in the same way that a woman does, or a woman does, and can't listen to you in quite the same way. So they're getting really good. But it's really important to connect with other women, I think.
I think so too. And I mean, a lot of the reason that I got into the line of work that I'm in is, even from a small kid, I believe that every person deserves to be heard. Every person has something to share, every single day. We have to speak. We have all of these things going on in our mind constantly that we need a place that's safe and open that we can share. And if you don't have that, you'll probably find that you're feeling stunted in a lot of different areas in your life. So yeah, and I completely agree with that. If you don't feel that you have an outlet, do what you can to find one for yourself. Find some people that you can connect with, people that you can speak on your own personal level with, that you don't have to change what you're saying or be a specific person. Just people you get to be yourself with, and you'll find that it lights up your life. It makes you feel so connected and welcomed. It's really wonderful.
Thank you for that. Well, let's start to wrap up and see if there's anything else that each of us wants to share with everybody.
I think exercise is important, definitely, in any form. But to change our relationship with exercise, that it's not something that has to get done because it's exercise, but from the real standpoint of our bodies are meant to move, and I need to honor that. And we are not built to sit in front of a computer all day. You go back to the years and years and years ago, we roamed the earth. We moved all the time. And so if you can get into a place where you can stop thinking that exercise is something that has to happen for your weight or has to happen because it's for your health, but from that, almost like I need to do this, but I really don't want to, and instead embrace, I have a physical body that's an amazing vessel, and it deserves movement because that's what it's designed to do, and I'm going to honor it every day and get out and move my body in whatever way that I want to or whatever is convenient at the time. But I think that is exceptionally important because not only does it help with your circulation, it helps with your chi, but it also helps with the mind because it helps to balance hormones, balance the emotions. It's just what we are designed to do. And so I really encourage movement of any form every day. And it doesn't have to be for long, but I think it's really important that we do it daily.
I totally agree. I use the term because I feel the same way as you, that it's not just about losing weight or looking a certain way or getting exercise for the sake of exercise. It's for me, it's about being fluid in my body and making sure that I don't feel that I'm blocked anywhere, making sure I feel really flexible and fluid and everything's flowing and moving and it flows nicely. So I find I ask myself what type of fluidity I want for the day, and sometimes it's yoga and stretching, and sometimes it's pounding the pavement, going for a run, whatever it might be. But making sure that I'm always checking in that I do feel fluid. So I totally agree. It's so important.
I agree. My last thing that I'd love to share is when it comes to self-care, just be easy. We've shared this whole gamut of amazing things that I think we could go into a masterclass on each of the topics that we've talked about today. But be easy. You don't have to implement everything and you don't have to do everything. The best thing you can do for self-care is just ask yourself, like, how can I be easeful about this? How can I be easy with myself? How can I be more gentle? And then the things that are natural for you to do to take care of yourself will start to feel really good. You'll go, I think I'm going to eat better. Oh, I think I feel like going for a walk, once you ease off and feel better.
That's very well said and very true. It's not worth taking on everything and trying to succeed at every single thing that we've said or that you've read or you've heard somewhere. It's about asking yourself what you need and maybe just focusing on one or two things to introduce for a week or 2 weeks, see how that feels. And then once you feel that that feels good, maybe then there's space for you to implement something else. And really always checking in with your body and how you're feeling before piling more on your plate. Because as we said in the beginning, we're all very busy and we get that for sure.
Nice.
So thank you both, Deanna and Angela, for being here with me today. I've really enjoyed this chat.
Yeah, this has been great. Thank you. And thank you for everybody who's listening or watching this in the future. We're happy to come together as a community and to share our things that work for us. And if you take one thing away from this, then it was worth us coming together and sharing this for you tonight.
Completely. I think there's a beautiful, massive shift happening where it's about lifting each other up instead of being competition in any way whatsoever. So let's all work together to continuously lift all of us up together.
Nicely said. I like that.
Thank you.
I love it. So lifting each other up in community. A way that you who are listening can do that is to listen to this again and just give yourself the gift of all the tips that you learned here, and also to, if you liked this, share it with somebody. I bet there's somebody in your life who you know who could benefit from the information. So just share this free video with them. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here, and thank you, everyone, for watching, and we hope that you'll join us again.
Beautiful. Thank you, ladies.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.